Hello, welcome to TechWebDots. Today, I am going to discuss Docker Linux networking and especially the pre-configuration of bridge, host, overlay, and none. And this session is part of Docker for Beginner series, so please check out the previously recorded sessions for better understanding. Okay, let's move next. So very first one is the Docker bridge networking. So what bridge network says, the bridge network is the default configuration. Default means if you don't specify any of the network configuration, then bridge will be the default configuration applied to containers when launched without specifying any other network configuration. This network is an internal private network used by the containers, and it isolates the container network from the Docker host network, so it will be private. Okay, then how it look like from the presentation point of view. This is our host. Underneath we have the external network, and then we have two containers. One is a DB container, another one is the web container. So web container we are able to access on the port 5000, and it is connected through my bridge. So only containers which are connected through my bridge can communicate with each other, right? Not the external network. For external one, until and unless we are exposing it on port 8000, we will not be able to access it. Okay, bridge network uses a software which is software bridge that allow containers connected to the same bridge network to communicate. It means these two are connected to the my bridge software bridge through which they can communicate. Bridge network used on containers that are running on the same Docker daemon host. On the same host, this my bridge exists, the bridge networking through which they can easily communicate. Each container in the bridge network is assigned an IP address. Okay, each container, the both of them are having an IP address and subnet masking, with the host name defaulting to the container name. Okay, the container connected to the default bridge network are allowed to access other bridge connector containers by IP address. Means this web container can connect to the DB container with the help of IP address. The bridge network doesn't allow communication between container using host name, so they can only access through IP address. Okay, by default, Docker doesn't publish any container ports. To enable the port mapping between the container ports and the Docker host ports, use the Docker port flag, you can say double hyphen publish flag. Without this, you will not be able to expose the container application. The publish flag effectively configure a firewall rule that maps the port. For example, your app is accessible to the clients browsing to port 5000. So you have to map the port 5000 from the container to a available port on the host that we can see in the system, which is 8000. So you have port 8000 open on the host, which allow you to set the flag like this: publish 8000 colon 5000. It means any client browsing to the Docker host IP and port 8000 can access the application. So this is the very simple bridge networking. I hope it is clear for you. Let's move to the next option, which is Docker host and none networking. Okay, so what is host networking? The host network enables you to run the container on the host network directly. There is no container network. This configuration effectively removes the isolation between the host and container at network level, because now there is only single network which is working for both host and the container. Okay, this is how it looks like. This is the host, and we are using the same network for both the containers, either it is DB container or it is a web container. You can see here, we can see the my bridge and Docker 0 as well. So Docker 0 is the example of Docker host. Let's assume you decide to change the networking configuration to host network option, and your app is still accessible using the host IP. So you can now use the well-known port 80 instead of the mapped port. So keep in mind that the containers can use only ports that the host is not already using. It means if the host is already using port 80, then you will not able to use the same port for accessing the your application on port 80. What is non-networking? It is very simple. To disable networking for containers, use the non-network option. This might be useful if you have an application that doesn't use the network, or if you just want to validate that an application runs as expected in a container. In that case, you can go for non-networking. Okay, now the overlay one is remaining. So overlay works in the same way on the Linux and on Windows, and I will discuss in the next session with Windows networking. So I will see you in the next session. Till then, bye bye.